Strong new reaction coming in from the parents of Otto Warmbier, calling out Kim Jong-un over their son's death. In a statement, they write, quote, "We have been respectful during this summit process. Now we must speak out. Kim and his evil regime are responsible for the death of our son, Otto. Kim and his evil regime are responsible for the unimaginable cruelty and inhumanity. No excuses or lavish praise can change that." Joining us now is today's headliner, Counsel to the President Kellyanne Conway. Joining us from CPAC. The crowd continues to be somewhat loud there, Kellyanne. We'll try our best to get through this. But we just read the statement, the brand new statement from Otto Warmbier's family. Obviously, this is in response to the president in Vietnam saying he takes Kim at his word over not knowing about what was happening. What is the White House response?
I've just spoken to the president, and we talked about this very issue. The president agrees with the Warmbier family and holds North Korea responsible for Otto Warmbier's death. He has said that time and again. This president is responsible for having Otto Warmbier return to this country and be reunited with his family in his final hours before he passed. But the president is talking about that Chairman Kim did not know what happened to Otto at the time of when it happened. And so, of course, he holds North Korea responsible. He has deep affection and shares the grief of the Warmbier family. That will never end, as will not the president agreeing with the Warmbier family that North Korea is responsible. But Chairman Kim did not know what the president is saying is that there's no indication Chairman Kim knew what happened to Otto Warmbier when it happened. It's after he was returned here to the United States that we all learned of his very
so
sad
Kellyanne,
and
the president maintains that he takes Kim at his word, that he did not know what was happening with Otto Warmbier while he was in his own country, in North Korea.
That's right. But as for his death and as for his prosecution, his imprisonment, his death, of course North Korea remains responsible.
What about critics who say that because this second summit resulted in no agreement, the president has essentially helped elevate Kim on the world stage, made him more of a figure than he deserves to be?
No, if anything, the president walked away from a deal he thought was bad for the United States of America, where he is the president. So how does that elevate the person who very much wanted the president to agree to the deal? I think those critics are the same ones who 2-3 days earlier were insisting that this president was going to give away the store, that he was going to negotiate and abdicate way too much to Chairman Kim because he was, quote, anxious to get a deal. And of course, that didn't happen. So those same critics were wrong 3 days ago, and they're wrong again today. The president is the consummate deal maker. He's a non-politician businessman who knows when the deal is not right, when to walk away, and when to wait for better terms for his side of the deal, which in this case is the United States of America. Look, the president is receiving bipartisan praise for walking away from the non-deal deal. This is going to be a process. Other administrations ignored this.
But not for what he said about taking Kim for his word on not knowing about the treatment of Otto Warmbier. And I have to go back to that because he's not receiving bipartisan support for his statement there, including Lindsey Graham, who, one of the president's staunch allies, even said he didn't buy for a minute that Kim had nothing to do with Warmbier's treatment. He suggested, and I'll ask you about this, that the president, quote, was probably trying to leave some space to negotiate. Was that the case?
Well, respectfully, Senator Graham doesn't know that, and I'm telling you what the president just told me because that's where I work. And the president said that, of course, he agrees with the Warmbier family. North Korea is responsible for the death of their son. He's always said that will not change. This president negotiated the release of those 3 American detainees who would probably still be in North Korea but for this president asking for their release. They've been back on American soil almost a year. This president's leadership is why the vice president, who's standing behind me addressing CPAC while I'm speaking to you live, went to Hawaii to receive the remains of the fallen in Korea. And this president secured the release of Otto Warmbier, who was in an unforgivable and near-death condition in a coma, as I understand it, when he was reunited with his family and has suffered a senseless death that none of us will ever forget and, frankly, won't forgive. So the president, of course, holds North Korea responsible. I said that half a dozen times, at least now in this interview. What he said is that Chairman Kim says he was not aware of what he believes Chairman Kim to have said is that he was not aware of what had happened to Otto Warmbier when it happened. I'm relaying to you what Chairman Kim relayed to the president. And I'm clarifying because I know how Twitter somehow has become an assignment editor for reporters. And if Twitter's going to blow up and say, oh, the president says North Korea is not responsible for Warmbier, then they're not paying attention to everything the president has done.
Was Jared Kushner, was the president involved in Jared Kushner's security clearance process?
We don't discuss security clearances. I'm not even going to discuss my own. But I will tell you that the president has the absolute right to do what was described, but we're not going to discuss that. I will tell you, as these stories are breaking, Jared Kushner was over in the Middle East.
We know that Ivanka Trump has weighed in on her husband's security clearance in the past, saying that the president was not involved. So she spoke about it then, and I'm just wondering what the White House is saying now. We only have a few seconds left. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sarah
Sanders, the press secretary, said last night that something I'll repeat, which is we don't, as a White House, generally comment on security clearances. If Ivanka Trump chose to comment, then she probably has knowledge that some of us do not have, so she has a right to do that.
Kellyanne Conway, senior advisor to the president, thank you very much.
All right, Kellyanne, thank you for trying to fight through that. A loud crowd there behind you. Kellyanne Conway, thank you.